Hi, my name is Barry Holsinger. Somebody had asked me how I might go about updating the firmware on a number of SSDs or hard drives on a computer. And this is just a general solution to the problem that and I'm going to use the bash as my tool. So this is just a virtual machine. So I don't really have multiple hard drives hooked up. If we say DF, we can see that there's just one, which is the virtual drive. But for the purposes of this testing, I need to create some kind of an output of a DF command that has multiples, because I'm going to use the DF command to determine the hard drives that I've got. And it's just for the purposes of this demonstration. In any case, let's see, what I want to do is take the output of the DF command, then modify that. I just want to have multiple hard drives in the system. Okay, so that's good just for some test data. And just to make it a little bit more realistic, so that's okay. But what I will do is then, how would I go about manipulating this so that I can use the DF command to get a list of all the hard drives in the system, first of all. Next, I will need to take each of these hard drive device names and pass them to a program which will update the firmware. I don't have any kind of a program to update the firmware, so I'm just going to make one. Let's call it upgrade SSD, and we'll just do it as a C program for here, just because this is just a sample or an example. All I want is a program that will take a device name and a file name and make it look like it's updating the firmware for demonstration purposes. So these are just things we typically put in generic C programs. I think there's another one I'm going to need, but I'm not sure quite yet. So let's see. I think I want main to return an integer. And this is just standard old school I think I've got that right. If not, I'll find out shortly when I compile it or run it. So what I want to do is, with this dummy program, this is just a program to simulate upgrading the hard drives firmware. Say usage upgrade SSD Then we'll give the device and then image file. So this will be the usage, how the user would call this program. And this is just a help statement. And in this case, that's turning like a bad thing. So I'm going to say -1 or 1. If it gets down here, I suppose we could say it's good, or 0. What I want to do with the arguments is the first argument is the name of the program, the second argument is the device, and then the image name. I just want to print a message showing, making it look like we're updating the firmware. Let's see. Updating the firmware on device, blah, using file, blah. I think I need to make this window a little bit wider. And that will be the arguments. So the first string will be arg v 0 is the name of the program 1, and then arg v2. I think that's right. And I want to have make it take a little time. Just to make it look like it's doing something. Let's see. This will just delay a second, and I think that's part of a different library I need to include. I'll find out in a minute. Anyway, let's try to compile this. It's probably going to be all kinds of errors. Let's see, I typed that wrong, of course. Let's see, argv, yeah, let's see, argv right here. Oops. What else? Implicit declaration of sleep. Let's see. I think I had to Google this to find out where it is. What include file to use. Let me just do this. Oops. Well, something's wrong here. Oops. Sleep function. Let's see, include, okay, unistd.h, unistd.h, that's what I need. Seemed to work. Of course, it compiles as a.out. This is not in my path. That's kind of right, but not exactly what I wanted. It's close. I think I want to show it as a separate line. I don't know why the sleep won't allow partial line output to come out. I must be doing something wrong there. Let's see. Oh, that's good. That's a nice little simulation there. Okay. So let me move your oh, I guess I could just do the compile the right way. -o need SSD. So it'll actually name it that. Where is it? Okay. Grade dev SDX G4. Again, this is just to simulate the upgrade. Now, how do I take the output of my fake list of hard drives and convert it into something that can be passed to this program? There's a little bit of manipulation. This is probably not the easiest way, but I figured it will work. First thing, I want to only look at the ones that are dev SD, just for the sake of argument that all the hard drives I want to update are called /dev/SD something. So we'll filter out those and get rid of all the other stuff. Now I just want these names, which are the dev SDA1 and dev SDA2. There's a command cut. I think it's C for character, F for field. I want the first field. Oh, that didn't work. As I recall, playing around with this earlier, I have to specify the delimiter. Okay. Huh. Okay, so all right. So now we've got the list of the hard drives. We've got a command. Now how can we have the command executed on all of these? There's probably many ways to do it, but I found this method of using awk to create a command line and then passing it to xargs. But let's try this. I want to pipe all of this stuff into awk, which is a kind of a, awk is a nice utility for processing lines, but there's also sed and some other things. But if I can remember the syntax here, I think I have to have this. I want to print the command, which is upgrade SSD, and the argument which will be passed in is going to be this, but it'll be the first argument, so $1. And then the image name, which I'll just make up something and hard code it. I'll just call it that. Here's where it might get tricky. I'm not sure if I need a new line or not. Let's try it without. No, let's try it with. Let's try it without. Let's see how that goes. That's nice. That's exactly what I wanted. So I took my fake output, filtered out the hard drives, got just the hard drive device name, and formatted it as multiple statements of upgrade SSD, blah, 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 blah. Now to actually run these commands, what I've discovered is the Xarg utility will work if you massage it properly. Xargs. I have to go back and look at the man page for Xargs probably, or get a sample. Let's see. Example Xargs. Oh, this is a good one, a reasonable one. Again, the syntax is not always, I don't do this thing every day, so it's kind of hard to remember. Might have to play around with this a little bit. Let me just see if I can get it to do it as a bash command. Again, this needs to be a little bit wider. Great. That didn't work. Let's see. There was something about putting a null in here. And then making Xarg's key off of that. Oh, there we go. Okay, then that's it. So this is how I would create a bash script to update firmware on multiple hard drives. And this is just an example of how you might go about doing it. It's not a real solution, and there's no error handling, and clearly you need something more than just looking for dev SD, but this is just an example. So hopefully that will clarify things for you. Thanks for watching.